it really boils down to your mindset. And when you find yourself in the fires and the trials of life, do you have a mindset that will give you the ability to bounce back and to thrive in circumstances that would destroy other people? I think that really is the catalyst that's going to determine your success. It has been my experience that you will either live a purposeful life or a void life. And when I look around the world today, there are a lot of people that are living a void life. On the surface, they appear to be happy and joyful, but as somebody that has spoken with and had the opportunity to be around some very powerful, influential people in the world, everything that glitters is not gold. And what we see on the surface does not tell the story of what's happening in the soul of a person. And so I don't want us to get it mistaken that because somebody has the appearance of a good life, that they're actually living a good life. And I say that because essentially a void life is a life lived with the absence of purpose or the absence of vision. You've heard me say this so many times, and I believe it's worth repeating again. Where there is no vision, where there is no prophetic utterance, the people cast off restraints and run wild. I believe that the problem in the world today is not that people are victims of circumstances or prisoners to their condition, but what we're dealing with is a generation of people that have no vision for their lives. And so if you don't have a vision for your life, you will always become the victim of somebody else's vision or purpose or intention. And so one of the first things that you need to do is get a clear vision for your life. What is it that you want to do? Where do you want to go? And what impact do you want to have on the world around you? Vision gives you focus. It gives you discipline. It gives you direction. It gives you boundaries. And it gives you a picture of what is possible for your life when you begin to hone in on focus and the gifts and the talents that have been placed on the inside of you. A purposeful life is a life that is guided by a clear vision and mission. And so one of the greatest things I ever did many years ago was take the time to clarify my vision and mission. I remember just like yesterday being very young and having this conversation, internal conversation with myself, and kind of a prayer and an internal conversation. And I remember when it came to me that my vision and mission in life centered around empowerment. And I remember how intimidated I was and how reluctant I was, because at the time I just didn't see how all of this global impact and mission could be fulfilled. And I'm looking like, clearly God has gotten something crossed in the communication, and this is for somebody else. And that thing kept coming up louder and louder and louder until I couldn't ignore it, and I started to formulate and the pieces together to make that vision a reality. And here we are, a business that just turned 13 years old, a podcast that's been going for over a decade, and books and all of the things that I've been so blessed and fortunate to do, and the impact that I've been able to have through my work. I see now what I couldn't see back then, but it all started with a clear vision and mission. And so I want you to take the time to get really clear about what your vision and mission is in life. It's so important. If you don't live your life with a clear aim, you will live with an ache in your soul that will never go away. And I talk to so many people that are living their lives with that gaping hole, that ache in their soul that won't go away. And they try to fill it with everything, whether it's sex or alcohol or drugs or more people in their circle or a bigger entourage or a more extravagant house and another car, and they're not getting it. It's not in the stuff, but it's in you fulfilling the thing that you were put on this earth to do. And I feel like part of my mission in life is helping people to identify what that purpose is and to get busy doing the thing that I believe they were put on this planet to do. A life of purpose is uncomfortable and will force you beyond your limitations and boundaries. It will force you out of your comfort zone, because for me, talking about massive and global impact, it was frightening to me, because you're talking to somebody who really didn't like and still doesn't really like the stage, still doesn't really like a lot of attention. I prefer to go under the radar, but my assignment and my destiny required me to step onto the stage. And so it was very uncomfortable. There was a lot of things I didn't like, a lot of things that I wasn't necessarily excited about, but I had to be willing to adjust. And most people like the ease of a comfortable life, even if it comes at the expense of a changed life. Because I talk to so many people, they talk about change, but when you begin to boil down to the work that accompanies change and the discomfort and the inconvenience, you find out that a lot of people don't really want change at all. The problem with this is that easy is the enemy of evolution. Easy is the enemy of evolution. And as long as you keep choosing an easy life, you will never evolve and you will never become best and the greatest version of yourself. Furthermore, easy cripples your potential and excludes you from the realm of excellence. One thing that people have always said and continue to say about me is that there is a signature of excellence on what I do. And the reason that there is a signature of excellence on what I do is because I have not chosen the easy route. I mean, I could have done what was easy, I could have done what was convenient, but I would not be doing the things that I'm doing today. And what I want people to understand is that easy traps you into a mediocre life. And so, yes, you're going to have difficulties. Yes, you're going to have adversity. You're going to have challenges. But the seed of greatness on the inside of you is bigger than any challenge that will ever rise in your life. And if you will begin to pull forth on the seed of greatness and your potential, you're going to overcome every challenge and odd that tries to oppose your success. A comfortable life is a common life, and common is where capacity goes to die. Write that down. Common is where capacity goes to die. You only build capacity through challenges, and if you keep running from challenges, you will always lack the capacity to show up in the world as the powerful expression of who I know you were created to be. And so I think the thing that differentiates me from most people is that when a challenge comes up, most people begin to back up and run, but when a challenge shows up in my life, I celebrate. This is an opportunity for me to solve a problem, and problems are portals to promotion and increase. And so as I solve more problems, I'm promoted to greater realms of greatness, and more opportunities and things begin to unfold in my life because I choose to address the challenges and to be a problem solver. I think it's also important that as we go further in this series, I want to ignite a fire in you to think differently and to act with intention. I want you to think differently so that you can perceive the gift that life is and seize every opportunity that comes your way. Perceiving the gift that life is requires consciousness. It's a very tragic thing to go through life unconscious, but there are a lot of unconscious people in the world. And so if you are going to perceive the real gift that life in each moment brings, you have to be conscious. And consciousness is not just about being awake, but it's about being alive. And feeling alive requires you to find your place of assignment. Write that down. Feeling alive requires you to find your place of assignment. And the world is filled with people that are unfulfilled and unhappy and unawake and unconscious because they have not found out what their assignment is. Seizing opportunities requires that you be positioned. In other words, you have to be at the right place at the right time when opportunity knocks. Let me say that again. Seizing opportunities requires that you be positioned. In other words, you have to be at the right place at the right time when opportunity knocks. I think that one of the greatest disservices you can do to yourself and humanity is not to show up in the right places when opportunity is knocking. A lot of times we can make excuses, we can say we're busy, we can say we don't have time, but the reality of the matter is that it's not a priority in our lives. And as long as it's not a priority, we will live below our potential and we'll live below, what's really possible for our lives. Your greatest life will never be discovered in your comfort zone. Your greatest life